guys, so right now we're going to talk about roadblocks and the significance of roadblocks within different projects. And obviously there tends to, sometimes it can be, something can be really daunting just because there are roadblocks that we may encounter, and these roadblocks, we're a little afraid of these roadblocks, so we start to just put the whole thing off. We just put the whole task off, and we fall back into the trap of procrastination. But a lot of it is stemming from specific roadblocks, which are actually kind of like bothering us at the back of our minds. There's always something that's bothering us. There's always something about a task or a project that we start to blame in the back of our minds, and we kind of start to create excuses to just get away from it. So what we really want to do is, first of all, we want to start by writing them down. Write down all the roadblocks that you foresee. So imagine yourself successfully completing this project, whatever it might be, whether it's building a website or completing an assignment or doing some homework or doing some revision. It could be anything. Just write down the processes and procedures. I mean, it could be to create a software that's really useful and handy for someone in a specific niche. It could be anything. You can really achieve anything, but the key thing is what's holding you back. And with these roadblocks, when you start to write down what they could potentially be, I mean, we'll do an example in a minute, but the key thing is to sort of start by writing it down, and because only you know your subject, only you know what's coming, so, and what you expect to do. So write down the processes and the steps, and the next thing is to segment it down. So start to create create it into chapters, if you like, so it makes it easier and more digestible to look at. So that's the next level down. So segment it. So put a set of tasks into one group, and then another set of tasks into another group, and so on and so forth. And then you want to, from that, you want to start to focus on the actual roadblock areas. So the areas that will be actually that you're a bit concerned with, but you're a little concerned with them and you don't really want to move forward with it, and so you start to sort of try and avoid it or whatever. With these tasks, we want to start to break them down. They take priority. Break down the small steps that you can take to make those tasks achievable, and so that you can do it. And then obviously finally, you just do it. Just start doing the small processes that you've put in place, the tasks that you've chosen to do, those small steps that you've broken down. Start to just do it. Take action. We want to be action takers. There's a process to this. So you write them down, you order them, put them into a bit of a segment, and then you break down the really daunting ones first. That's the priority, right? Break them down into small actionable chunks, and boom, get moving. Start doing it. So what we'll do is we'll do a quick example. Let's take the example of running paid ads. So running an advertising campaign. So let's do running paid ads. Paid ads. Let's say we're going to use, let's say we want to send some traffic to our website, say, and we have an offer on that website, and we want to send traffic, and we're going to use, let's use Facebook ads. So we're going to use Facebook ads. And now, obviously, the whole process and the project, so your goal is to send traffic. Let's say we want to send tons of traffic and loads of visitors to this offer, and we're going to use Facebook. But the first thing that sticks out into my mind, the first fear and the concern that I would have is, hang on a second, how am I going to run Facebook ad campaign? I don't really know much about Facebook. How do I do this? So how does it work? So you have to look at it, and you have to think, okay, well, Facebook, there's a process to the Facebook ads. So the first thing is you have to let's not just get overwhelmed with, oh my God, it's a Facebook ad campaign. The first thing you have to do with a Facebook campaign is you have to have, say, a business account. So you have to set up a business account. So the first thing we could say, we could break that down. We could really break that small task of the Facebook adverts. We could break that down into simple steps. So business account. So we open up the business account. Step 2 will be, I think you'll have to verify it. So you can send them your passport and your ID and stuff. So you do the verification. And then step 3 would be to set up an ad. Now, this in itself, so you could do the setting up the ad actually has its own process. So say, for example, that could be broken down further. So you could take down to the next one, and that could be image creation. So you would create an image for that, for example, for that ad. You'd have a bit of text. So you'd do a bit of offer text that looks attractive. And then there would be the element of, for example, finding your demographics. So demographics. I'm just using this as an example. I'm not a Facebook professional advertiser. I'm just sort of giving you a basic. So you'd find your demographics, and that would involve looking around, doing research, seeing what sort of groups you're after, the age ranges, and that you're looking for. So this would be looking for your avatar, actually. You'd be looking for your ideal avatar that you want to visit your website through this advert, which has an image and some text on it. You can even put a video on these days, so you could even have a short video. But again, these things could actually be broken down even further. Can you see when you start to really break it down, the image, you may want to say, okay, so let's break that down. So you've got the image, and you might want to break that down by saying, okay, hang on a second, let's just outsource that to, say, Fiverr or Freelancer. Loads of websites out there where there's people waiting to do this work for you. Fiverr, I think, is probably the cheaper one. You've got Freelancer. I think there's also Upwork as well. So right now, something that seemed really daunting, you've actually just broken down to saying, okay, we're going to set up the business account, we're going to verify it, then we're going to set up an ad, and that's going to involve more steps, but then we can break down those steps. So it's not a problem. It's not daunting at all because it's actually being broken down here. So we could get the image done or the video by some experts that could do it on Fiverr, Freelancer, Upwork, and I'm sure there's many other freelance type platforms out there that you could look at. Then the text, again, you could get the text outsourced as well, or you could have the text for the advert written yourself. But then you could say, okay, well, how am I going to write it myself if I don't outsource it? Let's say you go around and there's a process to it, and you break that down even further, and you say, okay, well, I'm going to look at the top three adverts in my niche. So I'm going to look at the top 3, and I'm going to copy and paste those top 3 into a document, and I'm going to look at how they're actually written and their layouts and what makes them so successful and popular. So you're going to mimic the sort of text and the psychological triggers and the different types of way that it's been written. You're going to try and recreate it, repurpose it, if you like, and into your own words and into your own style. And then you'll have it done, and that will be created, job done. So that will be your route to writing it yourself. So you say, okay, let's break this down further. We'll have some other people's stuff. We'll look at it. We'll arrange it, rearrange it, play with it. Okay, cool. Looks good. Job done. Boom. That's how you'd break that one down. Demographics, avatar. Again, this is quite complicated, but the point is that there's a bit of trial and error with Facebook advertising. You got to go in there, you got to look at the different demographics, then you try and really, really try and sharpen down on your market. And but the point is that this is all possible. I mean, again, you could further break this down by saying, okay, I'm going to go in there and I'm only going to look at males or females, and I'm going to look at how many numbers come in from, say, over 45s. Let's say 45 plus. So we're going to look at 45 pluses only, and you know what? From there, we will take it from there. But let's see that, and then depending on your niche, you can go off onto, okay, well, I want them being members of this. They could be members of, I don't know, Disney, for example. If you're working in the animation world, and you could pull in all the people that subscribe to Disney groups or Disney channels. You could look for, maybe, do you want parents? Okay, so that's another thing. So we're looking for parents. So as you start to really segment and break off each part, it starts to become a lot easier. So this is something that I definitely recommend in actually helping us overcome roadblocks, and really again, always just be thinking, how can we simplify it, how can we break things down so they don't seem daunting to a point where we're so put off and we just don't want to do it anymore, and then we just fall back into the procrastination cycle. So again, this is a simple way just to start to break down everything and make it easy for you to start really taking action and moving forward. And again, always be taking action, always be moving forward. Just keep moving forward, set a task and boom, do it. Business account set up, boom, verify it, boom, next one, next. And then when you've done all of these tasks, next, on to the next batch of tasks. So that's what I definitely recommend to help you get moving along.